Trifecta by Dean Pearl. Chapter 18. The next morning, all four of them were having breakfast in the restaurant at the hotel before heading back to Vegas. After ordering, Wesley looked at Ben and asked, "Didn't you say you had something to talk to us about?" Ben murmured before swallowing his mouthful of coffee. "I haven't made this public knowledge yet, but I'm planning to run for the district attorney's seat coming open this year, and I need a solid support team to help me get there." "No problem, count us in, right girls?" Max said approvingly as both girls nodded in agreement. "You know I'll do anything I can for you, honey," Wesley said with a smile. "Thanks, y'all. I knew I could count on you guys for support. But there's just one little thing that you three would be great at, and it could help put me over the top come election time," Ben assured them. "What? Anything," Wesley assured him. "Well, you know how you guys have kidded around about becoming a super crime-fighting team?" Ben began as all three of them were now hinging on his every word. "I kind of would like to make Trifecta official partners with the LVPD, give you a designation as private investigators helping to slow down crime in Vegas. I want to put you in some cool superhero-type uniforms for a photo op and go public with how you dealt with those four crooks at your dojo. Maybe get the Review-Journal to do a special interest story on all of you, with me as your muse and mentor." All three of them were now seriously focused on Ben, but none of them said anything when Ben hesitated after spilling his new info on them. "We could tape a recreation of the dojo heist with all of you in uniforms for maximum visual effect." Ben sat back and waited to see their response. The table was quiet for a few seconds as Wesley, Leslie, and Max soaked in this new information. Of course, Max was the first to speak up, fully in favor of Ben's request. Even if it was staged, it did actually happen, and he thought they did come off pretty good as heroes, even if not of the super variety. Max looked at the girls and said, "I think we should do it." As Ben smiled, knowing that the key to all was the twins' undying loyalty to Max and each other, and Max's secret desire to become a superhero, even if just for the cameras. The girls didn't seem quite as ready to grasp the concept as Max was. "So it's all just for show?" Leslie asked Ben. "Well, that's kind of up to you guys," Ben responded. "I mean, I can think of numerous real situations where the three of you could be a tremendous help to the department. As civilians, you may be able to infiltrate certain organizations and get inside information on potential criminal threats that we can't officially do. But as licensed investigators, you would get a lot of leeway if anything went south during an encounter." "Like what?" Wesley inquired. "Well, let's suppose the night of the dojo robbery that one of you accidentally killed or seriously injured one of those men. That could cause quite an issue for you legally. But being licensed investigators and having me and the whole department on your side could prevent a lot of legal trouble before it even starts." It was obvious that the three of them were thinking hard about Ben's proposal as the food arrived. "Could we have a couple days to think and talk about it?" Max asked. "Absolutely," Ben assured him. "Take all the time you want. I just wanted to put it out there and see if it was even feasible in your eyes to try it out." At that point, the table went silent as they all feasted hungrily on their breakfast sprawled out in front of them. As they were driving back to town, they had Leslie and Max driving in Wesley's van, and Wesley rode with Ben in his car. Max and Leslie had barely hit the road when Leslie wanted to talk about Ben's proposition with Max. "What did you think about Ben's offer to help him in his election bid?" Leslie started as Max put the van in cruise control for the long straight highway back into Vegas. "Well, you know how enamored I am with the whole superhero idea, but I'm not sure this is exactly what I had in mind," Max stated matter-of-factly. "It sounds like mostly a big public relations scam for votes to me." "So just all show and no real go?" Leslie asked. "That's what I'd be afraid of," Max claimed. "I don't want to become some corny sideshow, to be trotted out like show horses who look good but never get to race or jump. Just look pretty and do a few fancy moves." "If we don't get to use our abilities, then what's the use?" Leslie surmised. "We get enough attention just playing in a popular band, and we don't need fancy costumes to do it." She was wanting to see Max's perspective and align with it. She was actually falling in love with Max, but wanted to just keep it as casual as possible so it wouldn't show to other people, like Ben and Wesley. She wasn't sure they could accept her and Max's newfound love. If Max even was feeling the same way, but in her eyes, if Max had never gotten them the DNA test, they would all still be helplessly ignorant of their true birth status, and it wouldn't even be an issue. "Well," defended Max, "on the other side of the coin, it could be a big help to Ben, and we all seem to really get along well with him, especially Wesley, of course." They both laughed lightly at the truth. "I don't mind the big show for publicity, but I was serious about fighting against the criminal element so prevalent in Vegas. I want to feel like we're actually doing something to change things." Ben said something about being able to actually work undercover if we chose to, Leslie recalled. "Yeah, he did mention that, so that's a positive," Max confessed. I think we should just go along with it for a while and see how it develops. And in the meantime, we're still hopefully aiding in getting Ben elected as district attorney." Leslie nodded in agreement. Meanwhile, in the other car right behind him with Wesley and Ben, they were discussing the same subject. Wesley wanted to be involved for the action and to help her fellow Vegans feel safer on the street, not just to be some window dressing for the cameras. She was eager to help Ben in any way she could, though, and she would have to wait to talk to Max and Leslie about it to see if their feelings were as lined up. She surmised that both of her siblings would go along with Ben's plan, if for no other reason than to help him out. She realized that Max and Leslie would do it if she wanted them to, but she wouldn't commit until she talked to them in detail about it and how they felt about it. "So how are you feeling about your boyfriend becoming district attorney?" Ben asked casually as they drove along to get a feel from her about this possible new position and his girlfriend's desire to support him. "Baby," Wesley softened her voice, "you are probably aware already that I would do just about anything for you. Your happiness is and will remain my main concern. As for the whole hero thing, I think I have to talk with Leslie and Max in a lot more detail before I can commit to helping in that way. Are you just trying to make a big show of it for the press, or are you really willing to help us reap some vigilante justice in the process?" Ben thought a second before responding. "Of course, initially it would be all for show, a big splash to get attention. But then if you're really serious about doing something to affect change, I would support you all 100%. A district attorney has a lot of inside information that could drastically help your cause and help keep you safe in the process. I mean, I would never do anything that could get you hurt or killed. I also know that I can't stop you and your siblings from pursuing your goals, so that will have to be a gray area for now." "I understand, baby. Let me talk to Leslie and Max, but I'm sure at the very least they will probably be willing to do a little dog and pony show to help you kick off your campaign," Wesley smiled. Ben nodded approvingly and decided not to push the issue any more until they were ready.